Hello and welcome to the eTech podcast with me, your host, Ryan Morn. I have been involved in the development of electrified vehicles and machines since 2005 as an engineer and a business leader. This podcast is the product of my passion for electric and autonomous vehicle technology. I'm here to share knowledge from some of the world's leading experts, as well as my own insights. Join me as we accelerate the transition to cleaner, safer and smarter vehicles and grow the industry around the world. This episode has been really long time waiting for it to happen. We've got a very special guest today. Joining me today at Avid is a fantastic guy who I've known for a little while now, called Boris Tarnovski. Boris is one of the amazing team from Rimac Automobili, the now famous Croatian electric vehicle maker that's shot onto the scene in the last few years. Very lucky to have Boris here with us today to talk about what he does and a little bit about his background and the goings on at Rimac, which is a really exciting story. So thank you, Boris, for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Okay, so just to start off, could you tell us a bit about your background? So how did you get to be doing what you are doing today?
Well, I was a student. At the beginning, I was a student in Faculty of Mechanical Engineering in Zagreb. I would say that pretty much everything started in Formula student team. I was one of the founder there, and then this is how I was introduced into the motorsport and vehicles generally.
Oh, wow, okay.
And
so it works. Formula student works as a formula.
Yeah. It works.
Yeah.
And after that, I was in team for 3 years. And after that, I was working. I get a job offer from guys who I know from the races,
right? And
who own the tuning and motorsport shop.
Yeah. And
I worked there for 3 years, parallel with the faculty.
Yeah.
And then, in some time, I decided to, let's say, go further.
Yeah.
And I had a common friend with Mate Rimacs, who introduced me to him.
Right.
And I had a talk with him, and in the end, he offered me. It was not a job; it was just like a project to lead, completely independent. And it was a project for electric buggy, which was supposed to be developed for some sheikh or some guys from Arab countries.
Okay, yeah.
And I started working on that, and after a month or two, I showed some results, and in the end, Mate decided to hire me for full time and to start with him working on the new car.
Obviously, you don't look a day over 21, but it's quite a long time ago now.
It's more than 8.5 years ago.
Because really, it's something people always say, like, even talking about Rimac as a startup company, it isn't really. It's
I would say it's in transition.
Yeah.
It's not completely become OEM.
Yeah.
But we are in transition, and I think we are heading a good way.
Yeah. Exciting and dynamic. But
certainly. It's never boring.
Yeah. So you've been doing with Rimac now for 8-9 years.
Yeah, almost 9 years.
And what's your role at Rimac? What do you do on a day?
Currently, I'm a team leader for Powertrain development on Concept 2.
Okay.
So our new car in development. Before, I was one of the main designer of the Concept 1.
Okay.
I pretty much designed a lot of the systems in the car.
Okay.
From suspension, chassis, cooling system and stuff like this. And then I worked on few different projects. I have some also. I was team leader on some projects for some prototypes and for some other OEMs.
Yeah.
And 2.5 years ago, I became the team leader for the Powertrain on the Concept 2, and from then on, I'm working only on that.
So Concept 1 is the car that kind of launched Rimac onto the scene.
Yes.
Concept 2 is just taking it to another level completely. So to be leading the powertrain on probably the most awesome EV on the planet, Like, how does that feel?
Yeah, it's a good feel. I have a little big responsibility.
Yeah.
And to fulfill all the expectations with this car. I mean, the marketing is helping me not to rest.
Yeah.
So it's hard work, real hard work.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's very, very interesting. And
the specifications for the vehicle, where you're aiming for it to be, is like right. That there won't have been another EV really that is in that kind of territory.
Yeah, I mean, the acceleration, the full top speed, the power, everything is pretty much the numbers are the highest on the market. I mean, if you go 2 seconds, less than 2 seconds until 100 kilometers per hour, that's huge acceleration.
Yeah, because Concept One obviously was a. I mean, Concept One was a beast of a machine. Like really, it's one of my favorite cars actually in the last few years. The powertrain, the multi-motor system, just amazing job. But you've almost had to start again with Concept 2.
Yeah, Concept 2, I don't think it didn't use any component which was developed for Concept 1. Right. Even from standard components, we changed most of it.
Right.
So Concept 2 is pretty much done from scratch. We just used experience from Concept 1.
Yeah.
But any system, any component was pretty much developed only for Concept 2.
Wow, and that's a huge undertaking in pretty short timescale.
I mean, we developed, now it'd be around 2.5, maybe 3 years from scratch, from the beginning.
Yeah.
But we started to work hard, I would say, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And from then we developed and have first running prototypes for a car.
Yeah.
Which has numerous systems and features, and which is a state of the art, I would say.
Yeah. No, I don't think anyone would question that. With one of the other big things that's changed in the business, which for you as a leader within the engineering team must have been a massive challenge. You've gone from being a relatively small team. You told me earlier today how many people work at Rimac, but just
around 650.
So 650 people
currently. Yeah. So maybe that was next week. I'm not sure how it is this week.
So that's massive growth over the last few years.
Yeah, and that's a big issue also because you need to have the system which can take all these people and still be stable.
Yeah.
Everything works.
You must have gone from kind of a lot of doing stuff to then a lot of supervising other people doing stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I now I'm happy when I have a chance to do something, to design some part, but this doesn't happen often. I'm leading a small team, but also managing a lot of suppliers.
Right.
So I would say my team is 6 people, but with suppliers, I indirectly manage, I would say, hundreds.
Yeah.
So it's really a huge job, and but I mean, in the end, I think we'll really manage to do a good car and good components for this car.
So what is the plan in terms of the launch of the Concept 2?
It was presented 1.5 years, I think, ago in Geneva.
Yeah.
And so that means that I saw it then first time. Now we have first running prototypes.
Yeah.
We have done preliminary crash tests.
Yeah.
And in the next year, I would say, we will do global homologation for a car. So for Europe, US, China, and Gulf countries.
Yeah.
So this is also a huge job. This also includes like something between 20 and 30 crash tests.
Yeah. Wow.
And then around the end of next year, we should get. We should have the homologation done and first cars that have been delivered to the customers.
Wow. Okay, so we are getting very close now to launch.
Oh, yeah. It's still 1 year ago, so.
And another, obviously, the car is like the kind of symbol, the halo, but an awful lot of. I mean, you guys have got components going into lots and lots of other vehicle programs, which I'm sure you probably can't tell me too much about. I know.
I can tell just theory. Let's say. So the concept our cars generally are a bench showcase of what we can do.
Yeah.
So we try to we developing components for our car and then use this knowledge and the components for other OEMs which are inquiring our components. So we are supplying, for example, battery and infotainment system for Aston Martin, for Valkyria.
Yeah. Wow.
That's known. I can say this. And also we are doing this. We are supplying battery for Koenigsegg Regera. For the other OEMs, I cannot say, but we have some batteries, some motors, gearboxes, and stuff like this.
Yeah.
Being currently in proto phases, but some of the projects have already designed for a series. So
yeah,
really a lot of work also on the OEM side.
I mean, and obviously we're in the same industry, but the transformation in the industry was kind of seen as being the crazy pioneer, and people thought it was funny that he tried to make an electric race car.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. And what was the BMW?
The E30.
Yeah.
It was
a long time ago.
It was the beginning. So he I think get this car in 2010, something like this, or even 9.
Yeah.
He was driving it. First with petrol engine, then the engine blew, and then he decided to make an electric vehicle of it just from scratch.
Yeah, as you do. Yeah.
He didn't have any idea how to do it, so he was educating himself at the same time. And he managed to do first version, then he was doing like 100 iterations to get the car working better, faster.
Yeah.
And when I joined the company, that car was having around 600 horsepower.
Yeah.
And going the quarter mile in 11 seconds, which was absolute record in the time.
Yeah.
And it set up 6 world records in acceleration for electric car.
Wow.
I think most of them are still valid.
Yeah.
So it was a really interesting car, and this car helped really a lot in development.
Is it what's happened to it? Is it sort of?
It's in the warehouse currently without powertrain.
Okay.
It was it used its components for the other projects.
Okay.
And actually, pretty much that happened because one of the colleagues managed to crash this car
right. Okay.
into the wall. He went through the wall actually inside the company.
Oh no. Okay.
But it wasn't so big damage, but still need to be repaired. And when it was repaired, it was disassembled. And while it was repairing, these components already end up in some other projects.
Yeah, it's funny how that always happens.
Yeah. And the car still is in our warehouse, but there was not time or resources to try to, let's say, restore it.
Yeah, because it's much more important things to do now.
Yeah. Maybe in the future we'll manage to do somehow that.
In the museum.
Yeah.
Why not? In the future.
Yeah.
So with this, the market's changed so much. Do you sort of feel a difference in terms now of the job and what people think about what you do? And
yeah, I mean, in the beginnings we were just like some new company which doesn't know what they're doing, trying to be a new OEM. It was ridiculous. But now people think really that we have perspective.
Yeah.
And we see a lot of companies which were popping up on the map and then disappeared again.
Yeah.
We are still here, so I would say we're going pretty strong. Also, our investor recognized our value.
Yeah, because you this last year or so, you've closed some huge investments.
Yeah, we got investment from Porsche.
Wow.
2 times, so I think it was last year and this year.
Mm-hmm.
Then he had investment from Hyundai and Kia.
Yeah, wow.
And it was really big investments. And in the time they were screening complete company and checked everything.
Yeah.
And obviously they were happy since they invested.
Yeah, it happened. And there's another big investor, which is a
Camel Group from China. I think the biggest producer of the lead acid batteries in China.
Ah, okay. So maybe a bit of strategic planning about their future.
Yeah, but also I think they're expanding the portfolio with electric powertrains. So
right. Okay. It's a big. The Chinese market, the potential in China is.
The Chinese market is huge. Maybe not so much for high performance, which is, let's say, the main goal in the companies to produce high performance components.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, we have a joint venture with them for some more, let's say, commercial units.
Okay.
Where we work on that in China.
Okay. So have you been to China?
No, unfortunately not.
Okay, maybe that's coming in the future.
I don't know. Currently, I don't have anything to do with that.
Yeah.
Work, but we'll see. Who knows?
Okay, and then so back at home in Croatia, again, you were telling me today about some really exciting developments in terms of the growth of the company and new facilities and things. So,
yeah, the company is currently around 650 people.
Yeah.
So growing enormously. I think it was around 200 people in this year.
Yeah.
It is hard, but currently we have completely filled our buildings, so everything is very crowded. We have a new facility in Zagorje. It's 30 kilometers from our current facility.
Right.
There we have the production of components and car assembly. And it's planned to start working on a campus.
Right.
So we will build a campus for around 2,000 people maximum.
2,000 people?
Yeah.
Okay.
This includes R&D, testing, production, all everything should be there.
Wow.
So it will be proper facility. And
that's amazing.
With lot of things inside, like kindergarten and some stuff like this. So
if I had a hat, I would be taking it off right now. I mean, it's amazing that the story is amazing. In terms of then the concept too, Powertrain, what's been the most kind of challenging part of the development of something like that?
I would say first we started with some idea of performance of the car. So when we start development, we had some idea. Then we, let's say, set up first specifications for components. Yeah. And through some time, these specifications become stricter and stricter. So more performance, bigger speed, higher speed, better acceleration. So in the end, we end up with specifications which are like not from this world. Yeah. But I think we managed to do it. It was really a lot of work. We were fighting with the weight.
Right.
But now currently we have managed to get, I would say, the components which are top on the market. Yeah. Which hardly can be compared.
Because it's going to have all new motors.
Yes, it has. So we have completely new developed motors. So 4 motors. There are gearbox is developed from scratch also.
Okay.
Completely new inverters. So pretty much battery also, of course. Battery is pretty much vehicle designed for a vehicle.
Yeah.
So I would say everything was designed from scratch, but with the highest possible performance in mind.
Yeah. As you know, you've been around electrification now for 10 years. Does it surprise you what you can do now compared to what you could do 10 years ago? Or
yeah, I mean, first there's a big difference in the work process, let's say, from development to production. So we because of our experience, we managed to get this much more efficient and with more quality in the end. We managed also to squeeze more performance because we know all the physical limits better to really better understand all the physical limits.
Yeah.
And in the end, all this together guide us to do the best we can. I would say that. I don't know.
Yeah, it always surprises me the new technology. You know, you kind of think that must be it now, and then so silicon carbide has come along, and you can do more stuff and higher speed machines. Yeah. And then now, last couple of days, talking to some people about some really exciting new gallium nitride. And it's just actually even within like the battery chemistry, how that's you couldn't have imagined.
I would say the battery is developing the slowest.
Really?
Cells, yeah.
Okay.
If I compare the cells now and compare cells in the beginning, like 8 years ago, I would say the difference is not big.
Okay.
I would say much bigger difference is in motors and inverters.
Okay.
For example, now we have inverter which is 900 kilowatts. So double inverter for 2 motors, 900 kilowatts, which weighs 38 kilos.
Wow. Okay.
So it's something that we expected before to be like double the weight.
Very small, yeah. So on the actually batteries is an interesting one with your car, because we have normally with batteries you have either energy cells, so optimized for storage capacity, or power cells optimized for power output. But it seems like the performance of your powertrain must be both, you know.
Yeah, I mean, we find the cells which are the closest to some optimum between power and energy.
Yeah.
Also, we have a very big battery, so
right.
120 kilowatt hours.
Yeah.
So that's give us the possibility to take a really big power from it.
Yeah. Your powertrain's like 1.8, 1.6 megawatts or something.
1.4 megawatts.
1.4. Yeah. Just laughing.
It's power plant.
Yeah. You can 1.4 megawatts. That's incredible. Actually, that much power in one vehicle. So
yeah, I know.
Yeah. So you're pushing that battery pack at more than 10 C at peak, and that's
around 12 C. Yeah.
That's a big challenge. I mean.
Yeah. No. I mean, this is the big power, so it's not happening all the time.
Yeah.
So it's not so bad. We are currently doing the durability test on the cells to evaluate the life cycle, and it should be okay. I mean, we have to take into consideration this car, hypercar, which won't be driven every day, which won't make 300,000 kilometers.
Yeah.
So I would say if we compare with the other supercars, hypercars, our durability would be really good.
Yeah. And that, because really the battery pack is something, you know, you mentioned Aston and Koenigsegg, which are like known that you're supplying batteries to those guys, but really that super high performance battery is something that Rimacs become known for.
They're using different cells than us.
Okay.
We are using different cells for them actually. So the thing is that their packs are very small.
Okay.
They use it since they're hybrids. They don't have the need for a big battery pack of the range.
Yeah.
So because of that, we're using very small batteries, but the most powerful cells on the market.
Right.
And very expensive, of course.
Yeah.
So I would say the battery pack for Koenigsegg, which is something like less than 1/10 of the C2 battery, costs similar.
Yeah.
So you can imagine what's the cost of the cells then.
Yeah, I mean, there's some incredible cells out there, and I mean, the range. It's a big difference. Like I find with, obviously, you've got the mainstream passenger car where you're aiming to optimize energy, storage, and efficiency normally, and cost. And you know, it doesn't matter if it's a Tesla or an Audi or a Mercedes. Actually, taking huge amounts of cost out is really the main focus.
Mm-hmm.
And that applies to trucks and high performance passenger cars as well. But the hypercars, it's like that super end of the market. It's the specification. We were talking about another project, and I joked. Someone was complaining about specifications and then the power to weight ratio requirements on a project, and I said, well, you can guarantee that this other supercar will have the same requirements, you know. And sure enough, it's all about power to weight and squeezing more performance out of an ever smaller package.
Yeah. I would say that the biggest problem is if you want to have the range and the power at the same time, that's tricky.
Yeah.
Because with the range you increase the weight of the battery and increase the weight of the car. Yeah. And then you lose the performance. Yeah. So it's infinite circle and really hard to get something good.
Yeah, the more battery you're carrying around, it's definitely there's some clear kind of different directions that different companies are taking on batteries. It's interesting to see how the market is developing on that side. What do you think? So in terms of Rimac and what you're doing, what's got you excited about what's coming next? So,
well, we first we need to deliver the C2 to the cars.
Yeah,
okay. That's the main goal. After that, there will be next generations of Rimacs.
Okay.
Most likely based on C2 for beginning, and in the future maybe it's completely new models.
Right. Okay.
It will be always high performance models, maybe slightly less powerful and cheaper than C2, but still we won't. At least from what I know, in any near future, we won't go to the cheap cars or mass market.
Yeah, you stick to the niche.
Yeah, because it's a huge investment to do something like this.
Yeah.
So that's billions of euros.
Yeah.
And I don't see that happening without maybe joining with some big OEM or something like this.
Yeah. Mind you, there are some big OEMs who are now very much part of your business. So
yeah. So who knows? Yeah. Who knows what will carry the future? Maybe it will be like part of our job, but still keep the high performance. I don't know. I think we are very flexible and we are adjusting the market to the market.
Yeah. Is it so? In terms of Croatia is not known for an automotive industry.
Yeah.
How has it been in terms of building the business and hiring people and developing the skills? Is that?
Yeah, that's the problem. Because as I said, there is no automotive business in Croatia. There are some companies that do. They are tier 1 or tier 2.
Yeah.
But nobody's producing vehicles. So we don't have people with experience from that. So I mean, I myself also never worked in automotive before this company.
Right. Okay.
If you don't count the tuning store,
yeah,
and make some racing cars, but so I would say Croatian engineers doesn't have this mindset, which is completely different than garage approach or working in some smaller company. So it's like a big system, and you need to comply to all the rules of it and to have some processes defined. And I mean, we are defining all that from scratch currently in the company.
Yeah.
So this is also another thing that we are fighting with.
Yeah.
And finding people, we are hiring a lot from other countries.
Right.
We have more than 30 nationalities in company.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I would say that I don't know the exact number, but from my feeling, I think we have more than 100 foreigners.
Wow.
And from all over the world. So
there must be the Croatia must be pretty happy with you guys right now in terms of.
I hope they are.
A success story. Yeah. It's fantastic. It really is. I just I'm in awe of. I really am. And I know it's really easy to say, but I'm absolutely in awe of what you guys have done. It's it's phenomenal. You know, the change in the industry and being able to really drive that change forwards in the way that that you and the team and Mate have done that. It's just been brilliant to see that happen.
Thank you.
Yeah. So really amazing. So I think just looking at the time, we're almost out of time. So it's probably really good time to draw that to a close now. But thank you so much for taking the time out. I know you've basically. I'm standing in between you and going home tomorrow. So all the best and wish you safe travel back to Croatia.
Thank you.
Okay, great. So that's all we've got time for today. I hope that's been useful, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Leave us a rating or a comment if you're listening to this on YouTube. Your feedback really is valuable to us. Also, you know, if you've got a topic that you're interested in that you'd like to hear us talk about, or someone you'd like to hear us talk to, don't be shy. Send those in. We are covering more and more listeners' questions in the future. We're starting to see quite a few of those come in on some really interesting topics. So really looking forward to bringing some of those to you. We've also got some fantastic interviews lined up with some really knowledgeable people. So they're going to be interesting. I can't wait to get those podcasts out. So that's all from me for today. Thanks for listening, and I look forward to speaking to you again soon.